Here with Loose Groomers, we're back with Linda Williams, my lovely neighbour. So where have you been?
Oh, well, I've been let out. Just
let out of the nut house kind of thing, so to speak.
Yeah.
No, you haven't. I mean, you've just been away for a while, haven't you?
Just been
busy working. Yeah. But you know, you're back now. So what are we doing this weekend? Are you coming with me this weekend?
I'm not sure yet.
So this weekend we are going to Caroline Hutchins in Gloucester, and Isabel she's English but she lives in Spain. She's going to be doing a all-day seminar on a Saturday. So if you guys haven't actually signed up for it and you are free to go, I strongly suggest you get in touch with Caroline Hutchins. Isabel is absolutely one talented lady. And on top of that, she's funny. So you'll be getting a lot for your money. You'll be getting humour, you'll be getting education, really good education. Her scissoring skills is like no other. She's a triple threat. She's really, really cool. Good speaker, good groomer, and she has good personality. So it's a really good thing. And then, so that's Saturday, and I'll be there selling my tools and your happy straps and all that kind of stuff. And then on Sunday, Kelly, who's behind the camera there, she's going to be staying there for the workshop. So she's doing like a 2-day thing. And then Monday we go to Bath Dog Show. Are you going to come?
Yeah.
Bath Champ Show.
Bath Champ Show.
Which is also important if you guys don't know about Bath Champ Show. This is a way for you, I think Monday is utility and I forget the other breed. But it'd be a good thing for people who want to learn also to, you know, pick up on their skills and walk around, talk to people that show dogs. Don't necessarily ask them questions while they're in the midst of getting the dog ready, but when they're done, you know, ask them as many questions as possible. So, what is today's topic?
It's like your labradoodles, anything doodly, anything poodly.
Anything doodly, poodly, yeah, I mean, we've got chugs, pugs, labradoodles, and you know, I see so much negativity on social media regarding designer breeds, and you know what? You know, they bring us in a lot of money, don't they? We groom. How many doodles do you groom a day? A week?
Quite a lot.
Quite a lot. And yes, they have issues when it comes to people not brushing them out, but that is also our job to educate the people.
I was going to say, that's one of the hardest things, is that people get them, and because they think they don't shed their coat, the general public think they don't have to brush their dog, and then it comes into us sort of at 8 months, a year, and it's...
Well, I think that comes down to making the sale on the breeder's side, isn't it? If you want to make a sale for a puppy, you want to sell this puppy, you want to make it as pleasing as possible, which means how often does it have to be groomed? Oh, not that often, because they don't shed. When in fact every dog has to cast hair. Labradoodles, poodles, but every dog has to cast hair. The difference is, instead of with smooth-coated dogs, it goes from the dog to the floor. With these coats, it mats up because it has to get through all the hair to hit the floor. It doesn't sometimes make it. So what do you do in your shop to these breeds to make it easier for you?
I try and encourage the owner to go as short as possible, not so they look silly, but so they still look like...
manageable.
Yeah, manageable. So that you know, and so they still look cuddly and fluffy, like that's why they chose those dogs. But it's manageable for me and for them. And even the ones that are sort of hard and fast about keeping the coat as it is, eventually, when they go through one winter, they are ready to go short. And
how often do you recommend them to come into you?
Every 6 weeks.
Or even 4 weeks, if you can.
It depends on how often. Well, it depends on how much they're prepared to do, and you know.
So what happens when you have people, groomers, and I get asked this question a lot. How do you tell your customers how often that dog has to come in? I believe, but it should be a known rule that they have to come in every 6 weeks. And this goes back to, once again, the importance about having a website so you guys can put all the information on there to
educate educational sheets that you hand out to your customers that have that breed. Exactly. So that you can, you know, it's something we've talked about doing. And
well, we'll be doing this on Groom University, but we don't want to give too much away about that right now. But, you know, the information which will be made available for groomers, so it's a lot easier for them to communicate with their customers, because this is a thing that, you know, what you say to a customer, if you say to a customer your dog should come in every 6 to 12 weeks, they're going to come in every 12 weeks. If you say every 4 to 6 weeks, they may push you 8 weeks. It's really important to understand the human psyche and how it works, to kind of, determine how they're going to be. And once again, it's about educating the customer so they know the importance that their dogs does shed. And you do have the difference in Labradoodles. You've got your typical, the ones I love with the coarse coat, and it doesn't grow that much. It's got the 2 fang hairs and the little eyebrows. They're incredible, and they can go a little bit longer because they got more of a wiry texture. But when it comes to the proper golden doodles, Labradoodles with the poodle type coats, they need to be groomed as often as possible.
And the cockapoos as well.
And they always want them to have a long haircut. So, when you have a dog in your shop, now I remember when I used to groom on an everyday basis, I would naturally take their armpit shoulder, all around the ear shoulder, all around the areas which I know is going to mat up.
And on the insides of all the legs, you can take shorter.
Absolutely. Yeah,
because it doesn't, when you look at the dog from the side, it doesn't really show. And even if you have it front on, it doesn't look odd if you take the inside legs really short.
And I also think it comes down to, once again, understanding the owner's lifestyle. What they do for a living, are they away a lot? Is there a nanny taking care of the dog? Do they go to the woods every day? And so on and so forth, because that really does help. Have you had any questions so far, Kelly?
No, a lot of people saying they're having tech problems, so they...
Technical problems?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to sort it out.
Oh, Kelly's trying to sort it out, so we'll just carry on talking, and then hopefully it will work its way out. Maybe it's because it's on 3G and not on Wi-Fi?
Maybe. It'll record it anyway, so they can come back to it.
So yeah, we can record it and we'll come back to it. So what do you think, so I always imagine, if you have a dog with a shorter body, the legs should match up with that body. I see too many grooms walking around with a short body and this longer legs. Well, what is the part of the dog what gets matted? It's going to be the legs. The underneath, around the head. So I always imagine, that's why I always go back to the rule of thumb is every dog I kind of do is a longer version of a Schnauzer cut. Of course, your cockers and your Westies with the furnishings between the coat and the hair between the back legs. But in reality, if you kind of keep with that realm where it comes your cockapoos, your Labradoodles, your poodles, you kind of make it easier on yourself, because the only places you'll even style is the hock and the stifle, and your front legs will resemble that length of hock and stifle put on the front legs, and it will all come together.
And I think with your cockapoos and that, if you put your angulation in, that takes a lot off in the back by angling your legs in on the back.
Now that's a very good...
and down the front of the throat.
Absolutely.
Because they tend to be long-haired here, so you can take that off. And they still look nice, and they still look fluffy, and they still look cute.
Exactly. So question, because you just hit the nail on the head there, a dog's mixed breed should still have angulation and balance and symmetry, shouldn't they?
Yes.
And I think, when we talked about when it comes to speakers, I think the speakers out there do a great job. However, I see a lot of big, fluffy teddy bear dogs being done in demonstrations, and I'm thinking, the first thing I ask myself is that dog going to come in 6 weeks' time or 12 weeks' time and be the same haircut, or is it going to be shaved off? I think a cockapoo, Labradoodle, mixed breed, even a Cavachon or all your Shons, they need to have that nice, manageable haircut. It's wonderful to have a beautifully scented dog walking down the street, but it has to have balance, it has to have style, and it should, in my opinion, be groomed to the customer's lifestyle, not necessarily what you would think looks cute on that dog, because you're only going to make your job harder in the long run. So I think that's really, really important. How's the technical difficulty going, Kels?
Good, no, it's back up and running, I think.
It's back up and running, so that's really good. Do we have people on there?
Yeah.
So, so I think, take a Labradoodle, for instance. I think if you look at the body, a peach or a blue comb attachment on the body, and you come down to your elbow, I would take all the undercarriage off. Jigsaw, my dog, he had a skirt for the longest time, and he goes to the woods every day. Now I just take all that stuff off.
If I was using a peach comb, I'd go all the way over, and I'd reverse it up the insides of the legs.
Okay, well, on the inside, the back legs and front legs?
Yes.
Now
and you get a nice covering.
Yeah, well, absolutely, and I think that's good, because also a lot of people forget to groom the areas they don't necessarily see, and this is a common. Not issue, it's a common thing that we all go through learning, but you'll find a lot of people that are learning do leave the bits what they don't necessarily see, and they also don't wash that area properly, and don't dry that area properly. You really have to be looking at level with the dog. That's why I always sit down when I groom, so I'm looking level with the dog. But you know, I always imagine when you come to that back leg, instead of leaving it high on the back leg, take all that muscle out, like on a schnauzer, because that way you naturally put the angulation into that back leg, which gives the dog shape.
Yeah.
And then the other biggest issue that I see is the faces.
Yeah.
Now, I think that's an intimidation thing. When people get nervous, they're thinking, oh my God, what do I do with the face? What do I do? So what do? They leave it long.
Yeah.
So they have all this down hair.
Yeah.
However, I will say, and I was talking to Eve about this the other day on the phone, that's probably their stage they're at in their schooling.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, remember at school at Westy Head, comb down, half a moon, a visor. That was perfect for that stage of the time you were grooming. Now, I always say, bring the haircut up, lift the haircut up, as opposed to having it hanging down, you know, and think less is more, because in my opinion, less is more. Don't you agree?
Yes, I do.
You don't have to agree.
No, I do actually.
You could have a debate.
No, let's not.
And let's not?
Because we're...
What, we're friends?
No, I do agree with that, it's how I groom.
You know, I mean, I always imagine what the haircut's going to be like in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Am I making my job harder, or am I going to make my job easier? So maybe when that dog comes in 6 weeks, I don't have to do so much prep work.
If I have an owner that is very difficult to persuade to come in every 6 weeks, what I tend to do is leave the bit over the eyes just that little bit longer than I normally would, and I don't take the feet as short, because then they grow pretty quickly, and they're the two places that look messy, and that will bring the owner in sooner rather than later.
But what about if it doesn't, and that owners are awkward, and they're not only are they an owner which has a hard time getting them to come in, but they're also an owner what don't want their dog shaved off?
But it's down to education. Yeah. It's down to educating them. But they are two places that if you're having trouble getting somebody to come in, to just leave those slightly, not massively longer, just that little bit. Whereas you would have just gone that further bit back with your scissors, just leave it that little bit.
You know what I would do?
What?
Just tell them to go somewhere else. Because there
does come a time where I think
that's
you
good.
have to.
You know, I think that's good for you to have what you would do, for me to have what I would do. Because once again, I think I would love people to realise how important a website is. And if you have this on a website, which are your rules to come to me as a customer, then there will be no question. I think the problem is because there's a lot of communication being lost because people don't have it in black and white. When things are in black and white, people are a little bit more like, oh. So to be a customer of a Fruitment Groom, you have to come every 6 weeks. If you don't, you've got to go somewhere else. Because at the end of the day, you know what, and it might sound harsh, but it's about having them educate the customer.
I think a website is really good, and I think everyone should have a website, but people tend to seek the information they want to seek, and if somebody just wants to book their dog in, they go on your website, they're looking for your phone number, they're not necessarily or they're looking at your photos, they're not necessarily going through everything, reading everything. But this is where I think educating your customers through leaflets and, you know, so you haven't got to stand for half an hour trying to explain to them, to hand out paperwork to them, a leaflet or something.
See, I totally, and this is great that we're having this debate because I don't agree with the paperwork. And when I was at Heidi's place last week, every customer what called up, they was told, have you made sure you've gone onto the website and you understand about how £20 deposit? Because since they've been taking a £20 deposit over the phone, they've had not one dog. I do think that's a really good idea. So when you have that website and you say, have you been on the website and read my rules and regulations to be a customer of mine? Yeah, that's it. There's no half hour. Turn that damn phone off.
It's gone.
It's no half hour. It's literally 10 seconds to let them know. But there's so much information on that website and they're really going to enjoy it and learn so much from it.
Yep.
But you know what? And I think the groomers have to realise, but you know what? We have to treat it more like a business, and they have to treat it, not be scared of the fact that they run a business. I think that people sometimes are frightened of, oh my God, I run a business and it's not a hobby.
But the majority of my customers are not young people. they're my generation.
Yeah.
And they're not people that sit on the internet.
Yeah, but
24/7. But I think they should be encouraged to go onto your website and be encouraged to read it.
Do what we're going to be doing on Groom University, which we're not going to go into right now, but it will give the groomers the easy way, the easy route to do things, which I think is really, really important. So, any questions so far, Callie?
No, lots of people saying that they take the legs shorter as well, inside of legs.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on Asian fusion? I'm a country groomer with lots of fluffy white dogs, and I think it really works for country groomers.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to, and you know what, I don't even like to call it Asian fusion no more. I like to call it dog grooming because, like I said before, the haircut is lifted, and when you lift the haircut up, what does that do? It stops it from hanging down on the floor. And I kind of gave a little tip in a little thing I did last week because you wasn't with me. Sad face.
But straight track.
When you are scissoring down, what is your natural posture? Imagine yourself scissoring down. What would your posture be?
Bending over. What do you mean?
What's your favourite?
If you're scissoring down on a dog, how would your arms be?
Oh, like that.
Or like that.
Well, yeah.
So not only are you scissoring down, you're naturally looking down at the dog, which means you're not seeing the haircut being created as you're doing it. And I think it's really important when you actually bring the arm around to an upright position and scissor up, you naturally bring your body away from the table, not too far, but you naturally do, so that way you can see the shape being created as you're doing it. And I think, and it's hard because not everybody is taught to scissor up.
No.
And also it's hard to teach that in a short amount of time. When I went to school, I think when Louisa Tandy went to the same school, Gilly's school, and when Heidi, we were always taught to scissor up, never ever ever scissor down. But to some people it's more achievable to see the learning result at that time. But I would always try to encourage the people to scissor up because it's a more
grooming's
natural
changed
thing.
a lot over the years because when I first learnt to groom, I mean Westers used to look like little hovercrafts. They had a lot of
hair on their legs.
Yeah, on them. Whereas now it's a lot more streamlined.
Well, yeah. Because a terrier's tight, they're not supposed to have bouffant hair, these holster hips, they're supposed to be very... You know, the way I like to think about it is, unless it's a Lhasa or a Shih Tzu in show coat, or a Yorkie, a haircut should be static, it shouldn't move. It shouldn't flop back and forth. And normally when it does, that's a good teller that it's too long. And also I recommend, perfect thing what you said, by leaving the feet longer, it makes the haircut look tattier sooner.
Yeah.
And that's why Asian fusion grooming, your haircut, your whole haircut, it comes from the length of the size of your foot. If you have a nice tight foot, your haircut comes off from that foot. If you have a big foot, your haircut's going to be too long. So that's a really, really good point that you brought up regarding that. But, you know, to leave it. And, you know what, let's face it, how many people come in with that dog's haircut and they've taken that big old whack of hair right there? Because the wife said to the husband, the dog needs a haircut, or vice versa, and they're like, no, it doesn't, whack.
And the joke is they take it off up here, not here.
Absolutely. But what? Because, you know, it's natural, but they won't have a table, and the first thing they do is this, crack, and then they take off that big chunk of hair. So it's really, really important. But, you know, I think there's, you know, like you said, think about the areas what you can't see on the dog. They're the areas what get matted up really quick. A dog scratches behind its ear, so what is it going to do? Create a mat. A dog rolls around on the carpet or whatever, so all the underside, the inside of his clothes is going to get matted. The armpits, they walk like that, so it's going to cause friction mass. So it's really important that people think about that, and it will help them out it's going to help them out immensely down the road. Any other questions, Carol?
No, Tony Marie Bennett just agreeing that it's a big problem trying to get owners to bring mixed breeds in frequently.
Yeah.
So hard to do a great groom and maintain balance when the customer doesn't bring the dog in enough.
Well, yeah, and also what you have to understand is, but you know what, you don't have to, you know what, you can listen to a customer how they want their dog done, and then you have to look at it, the big picture, and say, look, that's fine and dandy, but if you want it done like this is what you've got to do for me. And that way you can really start the conversation off about, you know what, if you want that, that's fine, I can do that, but this is how much it's going to cost, and this is how often you've got to bring it in. I think that's really, really important. And also realise, but you know what, we are doing, most of our designer breeds are like dark blue snap-on combs all over, whatever like that. And it's important that, once again, we worry about what we're doing with the dogs and not what other groomers are doing. Always remember, your customers, they think they know what's in the best interest of the animal, but sometimes they're looking at you for guidance.
Yeah.
Because you're the professional.
Yes.
Go ahead, sorry, Kelly.
Kate wants to know if you have any tips on preventing oral hematomas.
Oral hematomas?
Do you want me to take this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so if you've got an oral hematoma, whoever doesn't know what that is, it's where you have severe matting on the ear.
Come to the front.
No. You've got severe matting on the ear, and it squeezes the ear so tight that the circulation can't get into the ear. So then when you release that matting, all the blood goes into the ear and fills up with a pocket of blood. That hurts. The dog shakes and it starts to bleed. So the best thing to do is take it off like an inch at a time, then go away, do something else, then come back, do another inch, do something else, come back. So the blood flows slowly going back to the ear. Yeah, I've done that before and it's still bled. So I think if you do get to the point where you do get a hematoma, I put the ears on top of the head and then put a happy hoodie on, like a wet happy hoodie, so it's nice and cool. Yeah,
now,
so they don't shake.
Do you recommend, like I would, now we had a Bedlington of all things. The only place where it was matted was the tassels, and when I took the tassels off, it bled. It was like helter skelter. Normally it happens a lot with old English sheepdogs and the big,
I was going to say, I've
heavy breeds.
And
I've always called the owner immediately, and with this Bedlington, she swore blind I cut the dog, and I showed her my book because I talk about oral hematomas in my book, and I said take it to the vet, they do the button thing. But that's a really good idea what you said about doing little bits at a time. So, because you have to imagine an ear sandwich between two mats. You take it off real quick and then boom, the blood flow. That's why ears bleed so much, isn't it? Because that's all, like a main blood flow goes through them ears. And then it's almost like magic, but it just comes out the end of it and then you're left with this big bruising, big like pocket of blood. So, once again, I would take photos and call the owner immediately. And if you feel a thickness of ear with with other breeds, also I would take pictures of that. If you feel it kind of like it's thicker but it's kind of soft, I would take a picture of that.
They can get a hematoma as well from having an ear infection and constantly shaking their head, and where their ear is flicking around. That can cause a hematoma.
I mean, basically, when an owner comes in with a severely matted dog, I would warn the people about this. Not in vet terms, I would say, look, when I shave off this dog, because it's going to have all that hair gone and be like, what the hell's going on here, and shaking, the chances of a hematoma are more common. And then that's why it's always good to have a really good consent form, which we'll be doing very, very shortly for you guys, which is really important so that people understand, and plus it covers you, it does cover you. However, when it comes to consent forms, once again, make sure, I personally would have the owner sign one every single time that they'll come in. Not just a once a year thing, because you know what, I don't know how good that would stand up. I think when they come in, I think it's very easy for a customer to just make a squiggle and boom, boom, boom. And also, you could also add into that the problem that when I went to my friend Janet's this weekend, a person brought their dog in, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, their dog was done 4 hours ago. You understand what I mean? Pick up your dog on time too. And these are things which we're going to be launching very, very shortly with Groomiversity, and we'll talk about Groomiversity at another time. But before we go, I want to talk a little bit about some of my products.
And just before we finish this section, if anyone has any more questions on this subject, just to go on Facebook, let Colin or myself know, and we can pick them up next time. And
try and tag our names into it, so that way, when I look through my feeds, I can actually look at it. Anyway, for people that want to have a real nice smelling cologne, this is Ultra Ego, and this is the Sassy, and then we have the Scissor and Spray. And then we have the shampoo. Now shampoo, I'm glad the lady who was talking about the shampoo on Facebook last week worked out the problem, because she was saying she was going through a lot of this shampoo. Now this shampoo is highly concentrated. With this shampoo bottle here, if I was to fill this cap up with shampoo and put it into a bottle twice the size, that would go a long way. A long way. Now, this one has a hint of mint, and this one is for the whitening to make dogs whiter, which is very, very, once again, it looks very, very purple. And you have to be careful, and I'll be really, really honest when it comes to certain things. When it comes to whitening shampoo, you have to remember when you put the shampoo on, you've got to rinse it off very quickly. If you ever see dogs with a lilac tinge to them, lavender tinge, it's normally because their coat is damaged. And their coat, when their damaged coat absorbs the colour, that's why you see. The shampoo, we've had some incredible reviews on this shampoo. It does have a hint of mint in it. If you are using way too much, obviously you're going to have a stronger smell. A lot of people have been asking me about natural shampoo. I've done a lot of research, and I've talked to a lot of chemists, and they said nothing can be necessarily 100% natural. And if anything is 100% natural, it's probably not going to do a very good job. So we try and make things as natural as possible. The scissor mist has been sent off to a friend of mine, Barbara Bird in America. She's gone through all the ingredients. This has carotene in it, and it is really good for the dog's coat. It does have alcohol in it, but because it is an aerosol, not an aerosol, it's a pump, and it comes out, the alcohol will dissipate in the air. The reason why you should use a scissor and spray, in my opinion, when you groom, because hair is, you can manipulate the coat when it's got a little bit of dampness to it.
Yeah.
Not wet, but this is the Flairosol bottle, so when you pump it and you keep on pumping it, it will spray for a little bit longer. So that way it's a very, very light mist, and this one has green tea. So it has a hint of green tea, so it smells good. It's not over the top. Then you've got the Sassy for the girls, the cologne, and you've got the Ultra Ego for the boys. Really popular colognes. I've tried, and myself and Janet Raby, we've both, she's the brains behind the smells. I tell her smells I like, and she has smells she likes. We've tried to go for non-doggy kind of smells.
Really nice.
That's incredible. It's nice, and you know, with a scissor and spray, when you're using a scissor and spray as much as you should, you don't want something which is really pungent odour. No. So there's a very subtle smell to that. And also, when you're using a scissor and spray, you don't have to use it every single time you scissor. But when you comb in and scissor, if you want to have that coat work with you on your Yorkies, your Westies, the coat that creates a lot of static and goes everywhere, your Poodles, it's an incredible spray. Try to go with the Flairosol bottles, because that way you get a mist and not so much a heavy squirt of water.
You don't want squirt water mist.
For people that are interested in the shampoo, they can go on to www.preciouscollection.co.uk. That's www.preciouscollection.co.uk, and it will have all the products on there. You can order directly from line, and they will be shipped out immediately. If you're questioning the shampoo, maybe start off with the smaller bottle and the blue in shampoos. We got white results and we got results. And the reason why I wanted to call it results is because in Janet's shop in London, we use a shampoo for a longer time, because when you use a shampoo, let's face it, what happens when you wash a dog?
Sorry?
It's not a trick.
What
happens when you use any shampoo? What happens when you wash a dog? Any shampoo?
It cleans it.
It cleans it. So what is the real good teller about shampoo?
The dog almost squeaks. So it's squeaky clean.
Well, that's not the actual one, but I
it's clean.
What do you mean?
It
gets
over time. Over time. To see the results over weeks, not necessarily.
Right, okay.
Because when you wash a dog, you know what? It's going to get clean. It's going to be like, wow.
But then, you say that, but some shampoos don't make them squeaky clean.
Yeah, but you know what makes them squeaky clean? The person washing the dog.
Exactly. And
which is the big teller. Yeah. Now, when it comes to shampoo, I'm going to ask Kelly about this. What is your oh my God, What's your opinion on using scrunchies in the bathtub?
I always used to use a scrunchie.
Now,
I would dilute it into like a mixing jug, and then use the scrunchie to distribute it, and that worked really well.
So what about going from dog to dog with that same scrunchie?
Yeah.
They do clean. They are easy to clean. They don't hold the hair, and you can disinfect.
You can sterilise.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm only asking that because I've seen a lot of people online saying that you can contaminate another dog with issues. However, I think you have to be a groomer if you see a dog with a really bad skin problem.
Yeah,
you're not necessarily going to use the same scrunchie on that dog as opposed to another dog, but you can clean them, and I think it's really important that people, if you have a washing machine in your shop and you throw towels in there, throw the scrunchies in there also. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to hurt them, is it?
No.
We have a bucket of baby sterilising fluid, and we put our absorbent cloths and our scrunchies and stuff in that at the end of the day.
Perfect. Yeah. Interesting. So I had a really good. I'm glad you're back.
Thank you.
So we're going to be doing our next one on Monday.
You too.
The nut house did you good?
Yeah.
The meds all right?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, they're working.
So back Monday, 7:30.
Yes.
And what's tomorrow?
Friday.
What is it? It's your birthday,
It's
isn't
my
it?
birthday.
It's Linda's birthday.
21
And today is Laurie Ovius' birthday, Coleman's mum.
I know.
So happy birthday to Laurie. And
it was your birthday.
It was my birthday.
At the beginning of the week.
Yeah, it was my birthday on the 20th. But you know what? And once again, thank you so much for my birthday wishes. I'm very lucky. We're very lucky to have some really good friends.
Yeah.
And that's about it. So I hope you've enjoyed this segment. Once again, www.preciouscollection.co.uk. Thank you very much, Linda. Thank you, Kelly. And we'll see you later.
Anything anyone wants us to talk about, get in touch and we'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
We do need subjects because we want to cover whatever you want us to cover.
Absolutely. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.